More now on Israel's ongoing conflict with Hezbollah. Crystal Gomansing is live out of Jerusalem. What is the latest out of Lebanon this morning, Crystal?
Well, good morning, Heather. We have seen continued airstrikes in southern Lebanon. Really no surprise, given what we heard from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu late yesterday, saying that those strikes across Lebanon would continue as it pursues Hezbollah, saying that it would also target the capital. But it's a strike that occurred yesterday in the north, very, very far away from those southern communities known to be a stronghold for the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. And it was a strike in the community, and you can see from the pictures just the extent of the damage up in Aitou. The mayor of that community telling Reuters yesterday that it was an apartment that was hit. Families displaced from further south were living in that facility. Last report, 22 people were killed, and we are now hearing from the UN Human Rights Office saying they are receiving reports that the majority of victims in that strike yesterday were in fact women and children. And they are encouraging Israel to answer questions about it, saying there should be an investigation. At this point, we haven't heard anything from Israel Defense Forces regarding that strike. It was a surprise being so far away from the south and in a predominantly Christian community. So a lot of questions, and the fact that that would be a strike where a majority of women and children were reportedly killed, something the UN Human Rights Office is calling Israel to answer for.
Crystal, another part to the story today. Israel and the United Nations appear to be in a diplomatic standoff over UN peacekeepers who are working in southern Lebanon. What is the latest in that dispute?
This has been an ongoing issue, as you know, Heather, with at least 5 members of the UN interim force in Lebanon being injured over the past couple of days. We have heard a number of countries calling on Israel to ensure their protection, and also the Israeli Prime Minister demanding that they be removed. Well, we heard from the chief of peacekeepers for the UN, Jean-Pierre Lacroix. He said that is not going to happen. Take a listen to exactly what he said about the Israeli demand.
The decision was made that UNIFIL would currently stay in all its position in spite of the calls that were made by the Israeli Defense Forces to vacate the position that are in the vicinity of the blue line.
That blue line, the division that those peacekeeping forces monitor between Israel and Lebanon. It was reported that some of those positions, 29 positions, were deliberately targeted. That is being denied wholeheartedly by the Israeli Prime Minister.
The charge that Israel deliberately attacked UNIFIL personnel is completely false. It's exactly the opposite. Israel repeatedly asked UNIFIL to get out of harm's way. It repeatedly asked them to temporarily leave the combat zone, which is right next to Israel's border with Lebanon. In fact, on the day that Israel began its ground operation next to our border with Lebanon, we asked them specifically, please leave this area so you're not harmed.
So they will not be going anywhere. And we are hearing from the UN Security Council saying that all 15 members of the UN Security Council are expressing strong concern and calling for the protection and the guaranteed protection of those peacekeepers. Heather?
Crystal, thank you very much. Live in Jerusalem this morning.